Assalamu alaikum class 7 students. Bete, we have completed our chapter number 2. You can see on the screen chapter number 2, plants and their systems. Okay, and we have started exercise in our previous lecture in which we have done MCQs and true false. Okay, now we will start the next work of exercise from question number 3. Okay, this is your page number 29 of your book. Okay, so the first question is that the diagram show a stem and a root. Okay, you can see two diagrams are given. This is a diagram of stem and this is a diagram of root. Okay, and some parts are given. Okay, you can see A, B, C, these parts are given. You have to write the names of these parts in these blanks. Okay, so we will discuss first part A. So look at the screen. This is a part. You can see it is showing both parts. Okay, so what are these? A part answer is vascular bundles. What is the answer of A? The answer of A is vascular bundles. So write in your exercise in your book. A part answer is vascular bundles. I hope you have written. Now come to B part. Okay, now come to B part. We will see this is a B part. Okay, now this diagram is showing separately. This is separate and this is separate. So what is the B part answer? B part answer is xylem and C part answer is phloem. We also have discussed in the chapter xylem and phloem cells. They both are combined with each other in the body of a plant and collectively they are called vascular bundles. So this is the answer of vascular bundles because this diagram showing that these xylem and phloems are combined here. Okay, in B part they are separated. So B part answer is xylem and C part answer is phloem. Okay, I hope you have written in your exercise. Now come to D part. Okay, this is a diagram of a root. It's an internal structure of a root. So first we will discuss the D part. What is this? D part is a root here. We also have discussed when root began inside the soil, then further it is there are root hairs are grown on the tip of the root. So D part answer is root hair. Okay. Now E part. E part is a because it is the end of the root. So it is called a root tip. E part answer is a root tip or we can see growing tip. Okay, you have to write growing tip from where the root began to start grow. Okay, so this is a growing tip. Now come to F part. Okay, you can see after a growing root, who protect the root, who protect the early root, that is a root cap. You can see F part answer is root cap. Okay, and now root cap. So all parts are uh, covered. Okay, and here are also B and C part are given. So they both are xylem and phloem cells. Okay, so you already have written here. Okay, A, B and C. I am repeating the answers again. A part answer is xylem. B part answer is phloem. C part answer, sorry, A part answer is vascular bundle. B part answer is xylem. C part answer is phloem. D part answer is root here. D part answer is root here. E part answer is growing tip. And F part answer is root cap. Okay. Now come to next question. Okay. Question number 1 is given. We have to follow above diagram. List the letters A to F and write the correct label alongside each one from the below. Some words may be used more than once. Okay, so these words are given which we have put in the diagram. I will show the diagram. These words are given, which we have chosen, and write here. And write in these blanks: A part, B part, C part, D part, E part, and F part. Okay. So already you have done this question number 1. Now we will discuss the question number 2. Okay. So what is the question number 2? Look at here. Name two things that both roots and stems have. So you have to find those things which are common in roots and stem. So what are these two things? So the two common things are two from xylem, phloem, and vascular bundles. If you observe the diagram, you can see it's a stem and it's a root. So which is common both of them? First is vascular bundle is common. You can also see it is a vascular bundle. Okay. Second one is it has xylem cells. It has phloem cell. It also has xylem cells and it also has phloem cells. So which thing is common? Look at the part 2 answer. So what do you write? Question number 2 answer. Name two things that both roots and stems have. So your answer will be two from xylem, phloem, and vascular bundle. Okay. I hope you understand it. Now question number 3. Which part carries water around the plant? You also have discussed this function happen in vascular bundle. So you have to tell me which one, xylem cell do this job or phloem cell do this job. So what will be the answer? Carries water around the plant. Its correct answer is question number 3. First part, A part answer is xylem. Okay. Xylem are responsible to carry water around the plant. Okay. B part carries sugar solution around the plant. Now we are talking about sugar solution. Sugar solution means the food of the plant. So which part carries food for the plant? That is phloem. Okay. So B part answer is phloem. A part answer is xylem and B part answer is phloem. Now come to C part. Absorbs water and minerals from the soil. This is very clear to you. Who absorb water and minerals from the soil? They are root hairs. What is the answer? C part answer is root hair. Okay, now protects the growing root from damage. Who protect the root from damaging? You also have observed in the diagram. If you observe the diagram, okay, this is a growing taproot and this is a root cap. So root cap protect the root hairs. So what will be the correct answer? The correct answer of question number 3, D part is root cap. What is the correct answer? Root cap. I'm repeating answers again. Question number 3, A part carries water round the plant. Correct answer is xylem. Carries sugar solution around the plant. The correct answer is phloem. Absorbs water and minerals from the soil. Correct answer is root hair. And D part protects the growing root from damage. The correct answer is root cap. I hope you understand it. Now come to question number 4. You also have seen question number 4. Fill the gaps using these words. These words are given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These words are given to you. Okay, you have to fill in these boxes. So leaves are where a plant makes food during, what will be the correct answer? During photosynthesis. Okay, so leaves are, what will be here? Leaves are usually, these are usually green. The correct answer is green. Although other colors exist, whatever their color, whatever their color, all, whatever their color, whatever their color, all leaves contain, what did they contain? All leaves contain chlorophyll. Okay, all leaves contain chlorophyll. the chemical that absorbs. What is the function of chlorophyll? Absorbs light energy from the sun. Leaves are thin, so dash. Leaves are thin, so gases gases can get to the cells easily. They have uh, they have holes. They have holes called stomata. We have discussed in the chapter. They have holes called stomata to let gases in from the surrounding air. Veins made from dash. Veins made from vascular bundles. Vascular bundles carry water and sugar to and from the leaf. They also help to support the plant. They also help to support the plant. Okay, I am repeating the answers again. Look at here. In first one, food during photosynthesis. What will become here? Photosynthesis. In second blank, what will become? In second blank, leaves are usually green. What will be here? Green. Okay. So next are all leaves contain, all leaves contain, what did they contain? Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, the chemical that absorbs. What did they absorb? Chlorophyll, light energy. Light energy. Okay. Leaves are thin, so leaves are thin, so gases gases can get to the cells easily. Here, which word will come? Gases. Okay, they have holes called stomata. What will become here? Stomata. To let gases in from the surrounding air. Veins made from dash. Veins made from vascular bundles. From vascular bundles carry water and sugar to and from the leaf. They also help to they also help to support the plant. Support the plant. I hope you have done in your books. Okay, now come to next page. Page number 30. Okay, beti. Look at the screen carefully. This is your next question on page number 30. This is your question number 5. Okay. First, you have to understand the question. The question is that two identical raw potato pieces are measured. Okay. You have taken two pieces of potato and you have measured them. You have measured their length. One piece is put into a beaker of one piece is put into a beaker of water. Okay, in a beaker of water. In a beaker of water, and one piece is put in a beaker of water, the other piece is put in a beaker of strong sugar solution. You can see there are two beakers given in your book. One put into a one is put into a plain water, okay, into a beaker of water, plain water, and the other one is put into a strong sugar solution. Okay, these are two pieces of potato and they both are in a same length and same size. Okay, now we will discuss what will be happen. Why do we are doing this experiment? Because we also study in the chapter. Okay, you can also see the diagram. This diagram is given. There are two pieces of potato. One is in a plain water and one is in a sugar solution, strong sugar solution. Why we have to discuss it? Because we have discussed the movement of water molecules inside the plants. The process is called osmosis, which we have studied in the chapter. Now we will discuss what will be happen with these two pieces of potato. Now look at here. After 1 hour, the potatoes are removed from the beakers. So after 1 hour, you will taken out these pieces from the beakers and measured again. This table shown the results. Okay, so look at the results. Potato piece in water. Length of a piece at start when they put the potato piece in a plain water, its length was 10 centimeter. But length of piece after 1 hour, when we put this piece for 1 hour in a plain water, its length was increased 11 centimeter. Okay, and the other piece which we put in a strong sugar solution, its length also was 10 centimeter. Its length was also 10 centimeter. But after 1 hour in a put in a strong sugar solution, its length was decreased. It was equal to 9 centimeters. So what is the difference between their lengths? So this thing we will discuss in our questions. What are the questions? Results. We have results in front of us. So look at here. Describe what has happened to the potato piece in water and in sugar solution. What is the difference between two? First of all, you have to think about it why their length began to different. Okay, please think about it. Okay, what is the change in their length? What was happened with them? Okay, so first we will write the answer. What has happened to the potato piece in water? What was happened? The answer will be the piece has got longer. The potato piece which is in plain water, the piece has got longer. Okay, and the piece which we put in sugar solution, the piece has got shorter. Here the piece got longer. Here the piece got shorter. This is your answer. Okay. Now come to question number 2. What makes water move in and out of cell? Actually, this is the question. What makes water move in and out of cells? Okay. Now I will explain. You also have studied the process of osmosis in your book. It was that the movement of water from a region of high water concentration to a region of low water concentration across a partially permeable membrane. This is your answer. This situation was happened due to the osmosis. Okay, in chapter we have studied. Don't write the answer. I will share the answers with you. First you have to understand the answer. What is this? What makes water move in and out of cell? When we put a piece of potato in plain water, because there is no sugar molecules, so what was happened? The movement of water molecules was higher, and because of that a potato piece absorb more water, and because of that its length has been increased. But when we put this piece in a strong sugar solution, we also have discussed that due to strong sugar solution they have large molecule. Because of that a piece become turgid, swollen, so its length began to decrease. What was happened? Its length began to decrease. Okay, so in this answer, you will write the definition of osmosis. I hope you understand it. Come to question number 3. Explain why the potato piece in water is firm. Okay, the piece of potato which was in plain water, it was firm, means it was hard. Okay, and rigid. But the potato piece in the sugar solution is floppy. Is floppy means it was soft. So what is the difference between two? So answer is that you all of know there was a great concentration of water molecules outside the cells of the piece than inside when the piece was in a plain water. Okay, why it becomes firm and rigid? Because the concentration of water molecules outside the potato piece, outside the cells, was very high as compared to inside the cell. So water therefore moves into the cells by osmosis, making the chip firm and rigid turgid. So definitely water molecules cannot pass through inside the potato piece, and because of that piece becomes rigid. But there was opposite in that piece, which was we put into a strong sugar solution, because uh, uh, the water molecules can pass through the semi-permeable membrane. So because of that, this piece become turgid, and because of that it becomes floppy and soft. So this is the reason. Now question number 4: a plant that has plenty of water is upright and well supported. A plant that is short of water starts to wilt. Suggest a reason for this. I think you all know this answer. A plant that has plenty of water is upright. A plant who is getting plenty of water, it is always straight, trim, and well supported. But a plant that has a less supply of water began to wilt. I have told you wilt, it means it will not well supported, it cannot straight upright. So suggest a reason for this. So what is the reason for this situation? Okay, so what is the reason? Water is lost from a plant by transpiration. If there is no water available for the roots to take in, the plant will start to wilt. First of all, we have studied two movements of water molecules inside a plant in the chapter. First, we have discussed the osmosis. When the water molecules enter in the body of a plant due to pressure, the osmosis is happen from higher region to lower region. Okay, and we also discussed another movement which is called transpiration. Transpiration means the loss of water through stomata by evaporation. So if a plant is getting plenty of water, okay, if it is getting plenty of water, so uh, uh, transpiration will not affect the rate of transpiration, will not affect the shape of the plant. But if a plant is short supply of water and transpiration is happening at daily basis, so because of that less supply of water, it begins to wilt, it begins to soft, it will not stand upright. Okay, so this is the reason. So lack of water effect on the shape of a plant. If it has plenty of water, a plant will replace the water lost in transpiration and remain upright. In simple words, we can say if there is a plenty of water and we all of know transpiration is happen at daily basis in each and every plant. So a plant is getting plenty of water. So the speed of transpiration doesn't affect the shape of a plant. But if a plant is getting less supply of water and transpiration is happening at daily basis, so because of that, what will be happen? So because of that, what will be happen? The plant begins to wilt. The plant does not stay upright. I hope you understand the reason. Okay, now come to the next question. This is your question number 6 of your exercise. Okay, first I will discuss the question. The table shows the transpiration rate of a plant in different weather conditions. First, we will observe the table that how transpiration is happened in these parts. So, weather condition and transpiration. In 1 minute, how many millimeter we will discuss. So, first is that warm air, the weather is warm air. Okay, so transpiration is a 15 millimeter in 1 minute. Okay, if there is cold air, transpiration began to slow 5 millimeter per minute. If there is a still air, transpiration will be at 8 millimeter per minute. If it is moving air, its rate will be 20 millimeter per minute. If it is dry air, okay, if there is dry air, its rate will be 10 mm per minute. But if it is moist air, okay, if it contains lot of water, because of that it will be 4 millimeter per minute. Okay, so we have to follow this table, and then we have to find the answers. So question number 1, which single weather condition causes the fastest rate of transpiration? So you can see in your table uh, which is the fastest transpiration rate. You can see moving gear. It is the highest rate in this table, 20 mm per minute. So you will write here answer 20 mm per minute. Okay, now B part, slowest rate of transpiration, slowest. So which one is the slowest rate? Moist air. This is the slowest rate. Okay, so what will be your answer? What do you write here? You will write here moist air. Okay, here answer will be moving air, and here answer will be moist air. And from where do you find the answer? These answers are given in your table. This is very easy, moving air, and this is a moist air. Okay, this answer will come here. Now come to question number 2. How much greater is the transpiration rate in warm air than cold air? What is the question? How much greater is you have to tell the maximum amount. Okay, how much it is greater the transpiration rate in warm air than cold air? First we will see the table. The warm air rate is 15 mm per minute, and in cold air this rate is 5 mm per minute. So how much this transpiration is greater in warm air? So there is a difference of 10 mm. Okay, now we will discuss the answer. What is the answer? Question number 2. So question number 2 answer will be, you can see warm air rate of transpiration is 15 mm per minute, and cold air transpiration is 5 mm per minute. So what will be your answer? 15 minus 5, answer will be equal to 10 mm per minute. So what do you write here? You will write here in this answer 10 mm per minute. What do you write here? 10 mm per minute. Okay. Now come to question number 3. You can see how much smaller is the transpiration rate in moist air than in dry air. How much smaller? Now you have to tell the less amount. How much smaller is the transpiration rate in moist air than in dry air? First we will see the moist air and the dry air. The rate of dry air is 10 mm per minute, and the rate of moist air is 4 mm per minute. Okay, so what is left? What is the rate of dry air? The rate of dry air is 10 mm per minute, and the rate of moist air is 4 mm per minute. So how much moist air is smaller? So if we minus 10 mm minus 4 mm, what do we find the answer? Its answer will be 6 mm per minute. What will be its answer? 6 mm per minute. What will be your answer? Its answer will be 6 mm per minute. Students, you are not serious. Understand it carefully. So its answer will be 6 mm per minute. Okay. Now there is a last question of your exercise. What sort of day will cause the fastest rate of transpiration? What sort of day cause the fastest rate of transpiration? So now look at the table. What was that? Fastest rate. Okay, you can see fastest rate of the transpiration. So what will be that? Moving air. Okay, and you can write here moving air means a warm windy day. So what will be your answer? A warm windy day. What will be your answer? A warm, windy day. Okay. So it was your exercise. I have discussed all the questions with you. Now you have to do these all questions in your neat copy. Okay. You will start your homework from question number 3, page number 29. Okay, chapter number 2, page number 29. You will do all these questions in your copy from question number 3 till question number 6. Is it clear to all of you? Okay, now your class has been ended and this is your exercise which we have done. Okay, now if you have any confusion, if you want to ask any question, raise your hand. I will explain to you. Now thank you so much. जी बेटे, is there any issue? जी Mr. Muzammil, बेटे, any issue? Is everything clear to you? Unmute your mic. Okay, I can't listen. Unmute your mic. Hello. Kitty, have you unmuted your mic? Okay.